Kia ora, I'm a Kiwi.
And I'm a Gaucho. And in this video, we're gonna test a few recommendations to avoid jet lag.
Today we have a flight from Madrid to Buenos Aires, transiting in London. So we decided to test a few life hacks to avoid jet lag and see if they really work.
Having a long flight to a different time zone can be difficult, especially with the side effects of a jet lag. A major effect of a long-haul flight can be a disturbed sleep, such as insomnia, early waking or excessive sleepiness, difficulty concentrating or not function at your usual level, daytime fatigue, and a general feeling of not being well.
To avoid all of this, or at least reduce some of the symptoms, we're going to follow some simple recommendations, and we've split them into 3 stages: before the flight, during the flight, and after the flight. So let's look at what to do before the flight.
Set your clock to your destination time zone so you can start unconsciously living on your destination time.
We began adapting to the Argentinian time frame about 3 or 4 days before our flight. That meant that we were going to bed at about 2 a.m, which is 10 p.m. Argentinian time, and waking up at about 10 a.m, which was 6 a.m. Argentinian time. This was to readjust our circadian rhythm and hopefully be more in tune to the time frame when we arrive in Argentina. We also began changing the times of all our meals to later to adapt more into the time zone that we were traveling into.
We started avoiding alcohol and coffee and did a high-intensity workout the morning before the flight. This helps to reduce stress, feel more relaxed, and also tire you out before getting into the plane.
During a long-haul flight, the air in the plane is recycled, increasing the risk of sharing bacteria and getting sick. Therefore, a few days before the flight, we ate a lot of oranges and kiwis filled with vitamin C. We also purchased some vitamin C chewable tablets to have the day before the flight, during the flight, and the day after the flight to avoid getting sick.
We had a meal rich in DHA and Omega-3 fatty acids before the flight. Stress on the body from jet lag causes inflammation, and by eating enough DHA and Omega-3 fatty acids, you will reduce the symptoms. Examples of food rich in Omega-3 fatty acids are avocado, walnuts, olives, olive oil, salmon, tuna, sunflower seed, eggs, sardines, and anchovies.
Now we're going to talk about what to do during the flight. However, first we're going to mention something that can happen quite often and did happen to us, which is delays. Our flight from Madrid to London was delayed by 6 hours, meaning we missed our connecting flight to Buenos Aires, and we had to wait a day and a half until the next flight in London. This played a little bit with our timing. However, we were able to readjust it into sleep for the first 7 hours of the flight, which would have been nighttime in Argentina, and stay awake for the remaining 7 hours of the 14-hour flight, which was daytime in Argentina, our destination.
We took 1.25 grams of melatonin in order to get a better sleep. Melatonin is a natural hormone that your body produces in order to fall asleep. By complementing with 1.25 grams, you will fall asleep more easy and get a better sleep during the flight.
Another important element during the flight is to stay hydrated and drink plenty of water. You can always go to the back of the plane during the flight and ask for a glass of water, or take a drink bottle on board with you and ask for it to be filled up at the back of the plane. This is a great way to go for a walk, stretch your legs, and stay hydrated at the same time.
Avoid blue lights of screens when it's not daylight at your destinations. On the first 7 hours of our flight, we avoided the screens of electromagnetic devices, and after we've been exposed to blue light in order to awake ourselves. You can also use an app like Entrain to know when you have to be exposed to blue light and when to not.
Now we're going to talk about what to do after the flight. It's very important to adjust as soon as possible to the local times for sleeping and eating. We arrived in late afternoon and waited until the appropriate hour to have dinner for Argentinian time. We then went to bed at about 11-12 p.m. and woke up the next morning ready to explore Buenos Aires.
The night after you arrive, you can also take melatonin as a complement. This will also help you to synchronize your sleep with the sleeping schedule of the time zone you are in. You can also choose to take a cold shower or follow some of the steps that we put in our sleeping quality post. Don't worry, the link will be on the description, so follow the link and there you can see all the tips and life hacks of a better sleep.
It is highly recommended to get as much natural sunlight after a long-haul flight as possible. However, we arrived in late afternoon and therefore didn't have much left of the day to enjoy. But the next morning we got up and went for some walks around some of the parks of Buenos Aires to enjoy the beautiful sunlight that was on offer.
Work out outside to reset your internal body clock while reducing the symptoms of a jet lag. Studies have shown that an outside exercise can help resynchronize your circadian rhythm.
So, we followed most of these life hacks on our flight from London to Buenos Aires, which helped us to reduce the effects of jet lag and also meant that we felt better during the flight and more able to sleep on the plane.
We didn't have any excessive sleepiness or insomnia, and we were able to sleep well and in tune with the Argentinian time. So guys, I hope you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and we will see you next time.